What's up everyone, it's Coach Mike. Welcome to episode 2 of Train with Mike. Today we're going to be deconstructing a little secret cheat code that I've been using to overload and improve my warm-ups to get more out of my hypertrophy training stimulus. So, a lot of times people come into the gym, they're rushed. They want to get straight to their workout. They go over to their stationary area that they're going to start with. They'll start warming up with the bar, do a few stretches, a few little light activations in between, and not really feel 100% when they start to lift heavy. Or, as we train athletes here, they'll come in, they'll have to prepare themselves for their explosive lifts, so they'll be ramping up all of their movements to allow them to get prepared for that. And then they go to their big primary lift of the day, and we aren't always getting the best bang for our buck when we want to get them a bit bigger and stronger. Here's where a little thing that I've been utilizing lately, where I've been doing pre-hypertrophy sets before I go and lift big. So today I'm going to give you the example of what I would do for my pre-hypertrophy training in a warm-up for my favorite exercise, the bench press. So follow me. So I got 4 stations set up. You probably can't be this greedy in your gyms and you're limited to one spot, but I'm going to talk about why I'm doing sort of like each area. So when you think about warming up for your primary strength lift, the key things you want to think about is what areas of the body stabilize the joints that are involved in the movement, what areas and muscles of the body are predominant primary movers that you need firing up for the lifts that you're going to be doing. And then what we want to do is create a little bit of a warm-up that gets stress into those areas to enhance the potential hypertrophy stimulus that you get once you get to your big primary exercises. With a little bit of fatigue in muscles, we definitely see that there's an increase in the cross-sectional area activation component when we're lifting with our heavy loads. So it's really important to sort of note that and understand why it could be useful. The other thing that you might like to do is sneak in a little bit of skill work somewhere in this series, depending on the style of warm-ups you like, and if you're trying to work on some specific top-end fun training skills, because sometimes if you're trying to get better at them, you've just got to get doses short. So first things first, we're doing bench. You better bloody believe we're going to get these pecs warmed up. So I've got a band today to add to my flies, and I'm going to use a decline chest fly. I love the bands when I'm doing any sort of exercise where I want to get an increased stress in the tissues throughout the movement, just because the band straight away gives you a reference point through your eccentric that makes you focus and control the movement a lot more. So they typically use for speed, which is great, and you can definitely do speed work, but where a lot of people are missing out on opportunities is that they can be utilized for your hypertrophy exercises. So with my chest flies, nice and simply, you can do any variation that you want. You could do flat bench, you could do incline bench, you could do cables, whatever you feel like. The key with all this stuff is actually the activation and control. So we're going to be looking at perfect technique for our full set. So we want good time under tension, good muscle contractions, good eccentric control for every single rep. Big squeeze, big emphasis on the pecs as we're driving up, squeezing together. Focused on good intensity. So with hypertrophy, we want to be going near failure. So for me, this is probably a little bit light. I might need a little bit more load, but ideally on my next and third round of this, because we like to do 2 to 3 sets, I'm going to increase the intensity across the sets as I start to warm up and get that beautiful blood flow and muscular stress and burn that we love in the muscle groups that we're trying to grow. So it's super important to make sure of that. All right, next exercise that we're moving into. I'm just going to demo one side just for the purpose of today's video. Is a front rack incline external rotation. It's got a long name, but essentially just get an incline bench, set up like this, 90-degree bend at your elbow, wrist stacked over elbow, and then rotate down, rotate back up with control. So rotator cuff is a key stabilizer in the eccentric portion of the bench press, and a lot of times, a lot of people find they get pain in their shoulder when bench pressing. So this is a great way, boom, to strengthen the rotator cuff and activate all the muscles around the shoulder that you're going to be utilizing in the bench. With all these sets, I'm looking at Great control. And pushing sort of like that 9 out of 10 RPE scale. In terms of like reps, I'm looking at 8 to 12, depending on the exercise and what I'm doing. That's sort of my bread and butter zones for good, like baseline hypertrophy stress with good control in your movements. Okay, so we've done the front of the body. Now we want to get the back of the shoulder and a little bit more. With this exercise, we're going to be targeting posterior delt, rhomboids, mid traps. Just going with the traditional reverse fly with a really key focus on the control of the exercise. A lot of people are really rapid, but again, hypertrophy is the name of the game from doing this little series. So I want to make sure that I'm dialed in and I've got full control every rep. You'll hear people talk about talking to your muscles, feeling your muscles. Get in control of it. Get locked in. Feel the movements. It's a great way to be in tune with your hype circuits. Okay. Just gonna stop there. Gonna do like kicks, but we'll keep going so I can get to the end, talk to you about a couple of other little key components. All right, now, big one here is like range of motion, movement, and also like lats in the bench press. Lats are massive in terms of like, if you don't have good lat strength and control in the bench, you're gonna end up in a bad position at the bottom. So lats are actually a huge muscle group that are involved in the bench. A lot of times, a lot of people don't know, but now it's getting more popular, especially everyone knows, oh, yep, scap's back and down. That's locking into those lats and back muscles. So we're gonna do a pullover, work full range of motion, opening up that thoracic spine, the shoulders. We're also gonna be getting activation isometrically and concentrically through the long head of the tricep, and we get front deltoid activated as we're pulling back over the top as well. So it's kind of like a great exercise to get all the key areas of the body firing. And like I said, we want pre-fatigue in these muscle groups before we go into the bench to get the most bang for our buck out of those hypertrophy stress sets, rather than just hitting it cold and warming up with the bench. So from here, reach, squeeze, control, bring it back up. Reach, squeeze, control, bring it back up. And that squeeze is pulling into the side of your body with your lats and squeezing in on your pecs and delts as you bring it over. So rather than just having lazy hands, elbows flaring, I'm actually squeezing into the pecs and the shoulders, the delts. A lot of times people come over and they relax on their pullovers, but to get the most bang for your buck out of it, squeeze the elbows in. Whew. And now we have a rest, and then we hit it again. Also, why this is so valuable at the start whilst you're fresh is you can ramp up your intensity on exercises that you typically do at the end of the session, targeting areas of the body that you are trying to grow. So it's a great way for you to actually get higher intensities on exercises traditionally you do a lot at a lot of lower intensities. When you're first starting, 2 rounds could be enough, but ideally you want to hit sort of that 3rd round on these to get the most bang for your buck out of the stress that we're looking for the hypertrophy demands that we want. Like I said before, maybe you're advanced and doing things like dips or pull-ups for you is easy. So we could drop one of these exercises, either gonna be the pullover or the reverse fly, and put in some pull-ups with control so we can get some extra work through our pull-ups, or a variation of pull-ups like a lever pull or more of a lat pull-up. So where we're really pulling into that scap set position. Other things you might want to sneak in here so you get a little bit of a rest is isolated core work. So you can make it as simple as doing a hollow hold. You might do some fluttering. You might do some hollow rocks. Or you might go, damn, I'm just gonna do some dynamic midline work. Whatever it is, this is a great opportunity at the start of your session to make sure that you're optimizing all of your big lifts for the day. You can do this for the lower body it's a great tool. Typically with the lower body, however, what I've found works really well is to only do like 2 or 3 exercises. Upper body can take a lot more stress, especially when you're isolating each area of the upper body. You can typically find ways to get more exercises in with the lower body. If you're doing the right exercises, typically they're a lot more compound, so you're getting the multi-joint movements where you're starting to target and activate and strengthen more areas of the body. So if we get enough likes, we get enough comments, I'll do a lot of lower body series. But if you want to get jacked, want to get big, add some hypertrophy to your warm-ups. Let's go.